Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Welcome to the Channel for Grace. Gobind will be live shortly. Book a tarot or astrology reading on our website, channelforgrace.guru, and check out our latest programs and classes. Please give us a share and a like, and we hope you enjoy the broadcast. Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome to live mini readings with Gobind, and welcome to the Channel for Grace. I'm so excited to be here live with you guys. We do this broadcast every Friday night, and you can choose from a natal chart reading, from a transit reading, from a compatibility reading. And for the compatibility reading, you don't have to have the exact times, although that helps a lot. And then you can also choose from, I added a new chart reading, which is a progress chart reading. And I'll talk in a minute about what that means. What is a progress chart? And also you can do tarot or oracle reading. So a lot of options, and they keep growing because I am studying and learning so much more about astrology. If you're curious about what I do outside of this YouTube channel, check out my website. There's a link in the description, and we have a very amazing program called the AQUARIAN Astrology Level 1 course, where I teach you the basics of astrology for Module 1, the Sun in astrology for Module 2, and the Moon in astrology for Module 3. And future modules are definitely coming, but those are the 3 that we have up so far. So if you want to learn astrology and you're a beginner, that is actually the best place to go, is to go check out those modules. And again, the link is in the description. The other event I'm so excited about is next week on Thursday, August 27th. I am doing a special webinar called the Fall 2020 Special Webinar, where I will go over the transits for the next 4 months, so the rest of the year. And this is the most important webinar that I'm going to do for this entire year of 2020. This is going to be the one that you don't want to miss. This is going to be the one you're going to want to have this information. You're going to want to know the transits. You're going to want to know the timing. You're going to want to know how it's affecting you based off of your sun, moon, and rising. Because the second half of the year, believe it or not, it's less than the second half. We're only 4 months left, right? It's more intense than what we've experienced so far in 2020. And so in order to get successfully through the energies that are coming, to affect us astrologically, being informed and knowing exactly what's going to happen is going to be amazing. Plus, we are going to see the biggest blast of Aquarian age energy hitting us on the solstice. And we're going to cover that transit and that day in the webinar. So make sure you guys sign up. I'm super excited about that. And I have a newsletter that I send out every week. It's called the Moon Magic Report. And if you sign up for the newsletter, you also get a free moon astrology guide. So those are the things that I offer, and I wanted to let everybody know, especially if you're new to the channel. So let's see who's actually in the chat tonight. We've got Melanie, welcome. We've got Patty. We've got Abby. Shannon, thank you for moderating. Julene, hello. Nikki, hello. Chanel, how's it going? Who else is in here? Lisa is here. Valerie is here. Teresa is here. Thank you guys so much for being in the chat. And those of you guys that are watching and not in the chat, thank you guys for watching as well. So the list is open. We already got a few names on it. I've got 4 names, but I have a feeling there's a couple more that signed up. Hey, Alexa, good to see you. I loved the video that you sent me. Oh my God, I love the video. That was amazing. That was like, I needed to see that video today, and I needed to hear that song at the end, so called Sedona. Oh my God, very inspiring. Thank you for that perfect timing. So it's good to see you here. This coming week is actually a really powerful week, and I've been releasing a weekly video to tell you about the major transit that goes on for the week and where it's happening in your chart. And so next week we'll be talking about the Mars square Saturn aspect. And that's going to be really fun. So know that not really fun. It's going to be fun to make the video. The transit is not going to be fun. unless you know how to ride that wave. Ride that horse bareback. Oh my God. If you absolutely have to send Cash App, that's fine. You can. It's money sign Eagle Star Yoga, all one word. That's how you send Cash App, although PayPal is usually easier, but I can accept Cash App as well. Okay, that is what is happening. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so freaking excited for tonight because I've added that progress chart reading. And the other thing I've been studying, in the last week, I ordered like 5 books. No, I think there was more. I think there was like close to 10 books. I don't even know. They're all there like stacked up. I started reading one of them, and the coolest thing about it is that it's all about the stars. So the book goes through the fixed stars in astrology. So there's certain stars that we recognize that are part of very powerful constellations. And in astrology, we look at those stars and where they are in your chart. And I can tell you, my mind is blown. Like, it's a whole nother thing we can add. So by next week, I might be able to add the stars into this reading and see if you've got any stars in your chart. So, oh my God, such amazing stuff going on. So let me, real quick, let me tell you who we have on the list. First, we have Julene. So we'll have Julene get her question ready and her information ready. If you are signed up, then all you have to do is make sure you have your information ready. So especially for the astrology readings, I want the date that you were born, the time that you were born, and also the location. And if you don't know the time, that's okay. I'll do my best. But there are certain readings that you can't get unless you know the time, and that's specifically the transit reading for sure. The progress chart, you have to have the time. And the natal chart, if you don't have the time, I can generally look at the energy of your chart for that day. For the compatibility chart, I can generally look at the energy, but the progress and the transit definitely need the time. So just so you know, there you go. I'm going to go check the PayPal real quick and make sure I got everybody on the list. Okay, so here's the list so far. We've got Julene, Patricia, Nikki, Abby, Valerie, and Rebecca. So the way that the readings work, because I think there's a few of you that maybe might be getting readings new for the first time, is basically everything happens in the chat to make it easier for me to manage the whole thing, because I've got my iPad where I pull your chart. I've got obviously the cards. I have to share the screen. So there's a lot of little details that I control, like in the background, that nobody can really see. You guys just get to like enjoy the experience of watching it on video. But the easiest way is that when it's your turn, that you have your information ready, like just copy it and then paste it into the chat and throw it up in there. So, and then I will go and look at the chat for your information so I can pull up the chart. Okay, sounds good? All right, so we're going to start with Jolene. And if you want to get on the list, it's $25. And I'm really excited. So let's go on this journey. So I'm going to pull up your chart, Jolene. So give me a second. 6465. 544. And if I've done your chart before, there's no way I can remember your information. And I usually don't save these charts. Otherwise, I'd have like a million charts saved. So I do need your information again. Phoenix. So while I pull this up, basically a progress chart is a view of how your planets have progressed over time. It's a specific technique used in astrology, and it's very good at predicting. It's a predictive astrology technique, and I have been diving into it, and so I feel confident enough to be able to do these mini readings for you guys. So let's do that. And let me actually do the secondary chart on top of your natal chart. I think that's going to be the best thing. Secondary for progressions for today. All right, so what I do is I take an image. This first one is taking me a minute to set up, and then I share the screen. Mm. 7215. Okay, almost ready. Me too. All right, so here we go. So here it is, your beautiful chart with my new settings, my new color settings, which I freaking love. So the important things to look at in a progress chart are basically the sun. The sun always will change a few signs. It's the moon, because the moon does change. It goes through a sign per year. And you can also look at Mercury and Venus. They progress as well. All of the other planets pretty much stay in the same location. And so what we look at is the sun and the moon to see what kind of alignments are going on. And the way that you read a progress chart is you focus on what phase the moon is in their chart, and what house it's in, and what sign it's in. And so this is the energy that has basically progressed for you, and it's kind of where you're at energetically. And so it gives you insight into the phase of your life that you're going through right now. So let's look at your sun first. So you were born with the sun in Gemini, right, at 13 degrees. your sun has actually progressed into the sign of Leo at 6 degrees. So you now have sun in Leo. You were born with the moon also in Leo at 17 degrees. And your moon right now is actually at 24 degrees of Leo. So that's significant because, and I'll tell you why. So I'm going to go back to here. And I can't write on this chart, but what I want to do is actually go back a few months. So the moon's going to be moving backwards until it was right next to the sun, which means there was a new moon phase in your life. So March 21st of 2019, you began a new 30-year cycle in your life. And so you're probably feeling this intense energy of something, there's a new beginning, there's a new cycle, there's an initiation. You're probably wanting to do something exciting in your life. This is happening in your third house of communication. And so there's a new desire to communicate. This cycle begins and it'll culminate when the moon reaches the full phase, which will be exactly opposite in your ninth house of spirituality and sharing, and spirituality and faith and belief systems, expansion, exploration. So right now you're beginning this phase, and it really is about you because it's a Leo new moon cycle. So this is about you. This is about learning to have fun. This is about focusing on yourself. And so for the next, what's 28 divided by 2? 16? No. Please don't laugh at me. Well, you can laugh at me if you want. 14. Yeah, I literally just did that on the calculator. I don't care. So for the next 14 years, you're going to be developing this cycle in your life. And so you're going to go through the square in about 7 years. And that's going to be the time where you feel this like intense kind of culmination. Not culmination exactly, but more of like a challenge that comes up that needs to be resolved. So for now, just know that you have just begun this new cycle in your life, and it's a very exciting time. And so that is recent. I mean, that's like a year. So the moon is actually going to move into Virgo in January. So know that right now, the moon for you is in Leo. So this is a focus on the self, like I said, and having fun, and on communication and like sharing your voice very strongly. When the moon moves into Virgo in January 21st of 2021, it's going to change energies. So that's when you're going to start to feel, it's going to be in Virgo for about a year. So that's where you're going to start to focus on different things in your life. You're going to start to focus on the more critical stuff, being more, analyzing life, the details, like being of service. That's what the moon in Virgo is all about. And so you can look forward to that phase because it'll help you organize your life. And that's what I got for you. So I hope that you that gave you a little bit of clarity there. And thank you for signing up. And I can see there's a couple more people that are signed up. So I'm going to go and check the PayPal real quick. But the next person is Patricia, if you want to put your information up on the screen. Chanel, are you Petite Beauty? I think yes. Yeah, you're welcome, Julene. And okay. Awesome, Patty. So I'll work on pulling your chart up as well. Yeah, that's progress charts are fun. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay. One of these days, I'll really memorize that. The progress charts are where it's at. Okay. New natal chart for Patricia. And there's a lot more information that we can get from the progress chart, but that's in a very general sense, like what cycle you're at and what's coming next energetically with like what you're going to want to do and love and aspire to do. That's the general information that I can give you here, but eventually I will create a more in-depth reading of progressions after I finish, reading the whole book and getting more familiar with the process, and then I'll probably offer a longer reading on the website if you do want one. All right, so let's get your info. 1219 61 258 Sitka. So what I'm doing with these progress charts is I'm laying them over your natal chart, and that's one way to do it. But the other way to do it is just to look at the progressed chart by itself, and that's a whole nother reading. So it's very in depth. But right now I want to focus on seeing where how the transits are actually affecting your natal chart, and so that's what we're focusing on. So let's see here. Let me change this. So what we have here is all right. So first things first. You were born with your sun in Sagittarius. And the sun right now is at 27 degrees of Aquarius. You were born with, oh, let me fix that. So it stops. I figured out how to stop the flickering. I need another little screen on the side. So that's first. Sun in Sag, but now the sun is in Aquarius at 27 degrees. So at the last degrees of Aquarius. You were born with your moon in Gemini. And the moon is progressed right now to, this is 25 degrees of Cancer. So you have progressed sun in Aquarius and progressed moon. Progressed sun in Aquarius and progressed moon in Cancer. So here's what's going to happen. This is actually very exciting. So I'm going to switch back to the program so I can show you the changes and the shifts. So what we're looking at is we're looking at the movement of the moon that's down here at the bottom. I can't write on this, so apologize. So I'm going to move forward a few months. So the moon, so if I go back, actually, let me reset this. So basically the moon right now is at 25 degrees of Cancer for you, that your progressed moon, which means it still has to travel through all of Leo. So, but when it moves into Leo, it's going to meet up with the sun in the full moon phase, which means that you are about to enter into the phase where it's the full moon, which is the culmination of the cycle that began 14 years ago. So whatever was happening in your life 14 years ago it began a cycle that you are about to complete. And so if I move forward, the moon goes into, it has to go meet up with the sun. So sun's at 29. Let's see if they meet up at 29. Let me go back. Days. I just want it to be precise. So the sun moves into Pisces. And then the moon continues through the whole cycle of Leo. And it enters into 0 degrees of Virgo. And that's the full moon phase. So that phase doesn't actually happen till July of 2023. But just know that between now and July 2023, that's where you're going to be transiting through the progressed moon in Leo, which is focusing on you, focusing on having fun, just like I did for Julene. Same theme. This is a time for you to let yourself enjoy life. And when the minute it moves into Virgo, the energy is going to shift and you're going to reach that completion of whatever happened 16, 17 years ago. It's 17 years from the full moon date, which is July 2023. So it's going to be, if we are at, it's going to be more like 11, 12, like that years ago. So anyways, that's the main thing. So it's actually exciting because these moments where the sun conjuncts the moon, which is the new moon phase, or the sun squares the moon, which is the square phase, or the sun is sun and the moon opposed, which is the full moon. Those are the major cycles that you look at when you're looking at a progressed chart. So that is what's happening for you, and that's the energies that you're going through. So sun at the last degrees of Aquarius is a big deal. That means that, you know, in an expressive way, you are very concerned with community and the group and helping people out and like humanitarian things. And in terms of the moon, you really, you know, you want to really focus on yourself. It's kind of an opposing energy. So both things are kind of happening at the same time right now. And so for the next few years, it's going to be all about you. And then when the moon hits that full moon phase, it's going to become the dynamic between the polarity between the Virgo energy and the Pisces energy. With Virgo is like here in the present moment, and Pisces is the culmination energy of the 12th house and the divine and the mystical and the divine connections and the spiritual downloads and the messages and things like that. So that is what is coming up for you, Patricia. So thank you for getting a reading. Let's see what we got going on in the chat. Next is Nikki, if you want to put up your question. All right, awesome, Stacy. I'm going to check the PayPal real quick again. There it is. Yeah, something so cool about the new book I'm reading is the fact that it goes over the fixed stars. And I guess Shannon just got on the list too. It goes over the fixed stars, and did you know that if you have prominent fixed stars in your chart, that basically you live out that mythological story in your life? I mean, what? Crazy. Okay. So it looks like we have another reading, astrology for Nikki. Yeah. The progressed chart reading for Nikki. You're welcome, Patricia. Okay, 6/13/75. Thank you so much, you guys. This is like super fun. Oh my God. 6:42 a.m. Location is Annapolis. Is that a typo, or is there an actual city called Annapolis? Or did you mean to put Minneapolis? I'm in a major shift in life right now, like my purpose is dialing up. Would that be progressed? Okay. Wait, yes to what? Annapolis or Minneapolis? I know, Shannon. I know. Maryland. Okay. Annapolis. Awesome. Yeah, I don't know the place, so not familiar with it. Okay, so now we've got your All right, hang on a second. Okay. Let's do your progress chart. Still getting used to the chart. Okay. I'm still getting used to how to pull it up in the program, especially because I changed the view, the way my charts look. So I'm getting used to reading them like this. So used to the yellow colors and all that stuff. Yeah, I know. This is this is really fun. Okay, so here's your natal chart is in the center, and your progress chart is the outer wheel. So the first thing that we notice is thank you for your patience, everyone, while I sing along. All right, here we go. So, Nikki, you were born with your sun in Gemini, and now your sun is in Leo, 4 degrees of Leo, progress sun. Your moon, you were born with moon in Leo, and the moon, the progressed moon right now is at 4 degrees of Aries. So there's the progressed moon, and there's the progressed sun, 4 degrees of Leo. And so what we see here is Pisces, Aries, Taurus. So right now you recently, I mean, not recently, like maybe a few years ago, you went through the completion cycle. And so what's happening right now is the moon, since the opposition would have been right here, like the moon would have had to be right here when it was pretty much full, kind of, because it's the opposition with the sun. Not exactly in those houses and stuff, but that's the relationship, because you look at the opposition of Leo, it's going to be in the other side, which is the duality of Aquarius. But so the moon is it's waning now, and it's waning in the sign of Aries. And it's actually in your 10th house. So it's transiting through your 10th house of career. And so the culmination that you felt, let's see when that actually happened. We'll go back months. When did the full moon happen? Okay, so the full moon happened in Cancer and Capricorn, and it happened in 2015. So that was the culmination of a cycle for you that started 14 years before that. And so now you're moving away from that. That's like that the energy of that cycle is sort of, it's dying down, it's calming down, it's relaxing a little bit. And so you're in this place in your life where you're it's the moon is not squaring the sun. If we reset it, the moon is not exactly squaring the sun, but it is going to move into a square. And it's in the square, it's going to have to be in, just to make sure, it's going to be when it enters into Gemini, I believe, to be exact. If it was Cancer, so Capricorn, Aquarius. It's getting closer to the square. I'm just going to double check. Okay. So when the moon moves into Taurus, it goes to 7 degrees of Taurus. That's going to be the square. So May 21st of 2023, you're going to feel something come up. There's going to be a challenge that comes up in your life that you'll have to resolve. And then the next few years after that will be the closing of that entire 30-year cycle. And so you'll start a whole new cycle in your life. So that's where you're at right now, energetically. It's waning. So it's like it's coming down from that high energy that happened, what did we say, 2015? And you're able to sort of relax in your life. But it is transiting the moon is transiting your 10th house right now, of career. And so there is something that has to do with career that is being activated right now. And because we know Mars is also in Aries, you were also born with Mars in Aries. So there's a big, in your 10th house, so there's a big activation of the 10th and the 11th house right now. So the career and then sharing your gifts with the world, a lot of that, those two houses have a lot of activity right now because of your progressed moon, because of Mars and all the squares to the other planets that is going on right now. So that's what I see, and hopefully that gives you some insights. Thank you, Nikki. So next is Abby. I'm going to go check the PayPal real quick one more time. And if you do end up sending a payment through Cash App, let me know. Don't forget to, you guys, to so if you're listening, Rebecca, I just noticed that you sent me a message. So there's a little button underneath the video. There's basically, in the video, it's got the thumbs up button. Then next to it is the thumbs down button. Next to that, it says live chat. That's the one you want to hit. So you want to click on live chat. And then at the bottom, you'll see all the comments. You can scroll down and up. And at the very bottom, you touch where it says chat publicly as, and it says your name. Hit that. And then the little keyboard pops up and you can write your question and put your information in there. Okay, awesome. Awesome. So Abby says, tarot is calling me tonight. Ooh, I love it. I just need guidance. I am officially separated from my husband, working on finishing school, awesome, and letting go of what doesn't serve me, opening my spiritual gifts. Okay, so what is the question that you have regarding this situation? While I get the cards. This is pretty fun, you guys. Thank you, spirit guides, angels, teachers, for being here with us today, Please clear the energy of these cards that I'm going to be using, as well as my energy, so I can be that open channel of grace, wisdom, intuition, and messages to flow through for whoever is needing a tarot reading for tonight. So, what's the question that you want to know, or do you want a general reading? Because I'm not sure exactly what it is that you are wanting to know. I guess you did say I just need guidance. So let's just pull some cards. I just now realized that. Okay. Whoa, those two cards just like flew out majorly. Five of Cups and the Devil. Basically everything you just said just popped out in two cards. So I'll show you the cards in a minute, but I can start talking about them while I'm sitting here. The Five of Cups is grieving. You're grieving right now. Like definitely letting go. Like the Devil card is addictions. And so you're experiencing right now like the releasing of the energy, and it's bringing up a lot of grief. This is the Five of Cups. And the grief is because every time that we have to let go of something that is toxic, the Devil card is all about those toxic cycles. We have to let go of those cycles, and it's very difficult. It's never easy. When we're in toxic relationships and when we experience things in our lives that don't align with like who we are deep down in our soul, letting that go involves recognizing a lot of things about our lives. It means recognizing that a lot of we oftentimes feel like victims in our lives when we're in relationships that are toxic. We often we play the victim. And we are a victim in a sense. We are a victim because we do experience, whether it is emotional abuse or, God forbid, physical abuse or violence or, verbal violence. Like we do experience toxicity and we do experience some form of abuse. Like that's the nature of toxic relationships. And that's why, and what happens is they become addictions, right? The Devil card, they become addictions. And these addictions, they create this desire to stay in the energy because it's all we know and because it's everything that we are used to. We can't imagine something different. And that's why most people stay in relationships, because you become you become conditioned to need what's happening there, to need that toxic energy that's happening there. So when we choose to break that cycle, it takes a long time. You have to go through the grieving process because you have to let go. You have to go through the grieving process of there's a part of you that participated in that. There's a part of you that is still addicted to that kind of treatment or relationship or toxicity in general. And there's a desire to become someone else. Yes, codependent. And so that person that you were when you were in that relationship has to die. That person cannot continue with you. And the reason is because if you took all that toxicity, all that behavior that you learned with you, like what's the point? No, that's the part of you that needs to die. And you have to go, this is the most important thing of it all. The hardest thing I ever learned when I left a toxic relationship was to the recognition or the realization that I chose, because nobody was holding a gun to my head. I chose to be there for as long as I was there. And that was the hardest thing to accept. And so you have to grieve the fact that part of you did this to yourself. And I think that's what you're grieving right now, and that's what you're having to let go. And so you're needing a grounded energy. You get the Knight of Pentacles. You're needing to find connection this could represent an actual person, and I don't know if if you're involved with another relationship, or but this to me seems like this could be another person in your life that represents this Knight of Pentacles. And when we look at the pentacle energy, it's the grounding energy. It's the energy that brings you reliability. It's somebody you trust, right? Someone who honors his responsibilities. And so that's what you're needing right now. You're needing to understand and basically trust yourself, and trust and do put the hard work in that you're doing to get to where you want to go. You need to honor yourself. And, this could represent someone who's involved with you, or someone who's maybe in a different energetic space that can hold space, because the Pentacles is the earth energy. So it has to hold space for you to heal all of these wounds that you're healing. Yes, go gently. That's great, great, great advice, for sure. And then the last card that you get is actually the 10 of Cups, which is actually a beautiful energy, because this means that you having moved away, right, from all the toxicity, and actually dealing with the grief and letting go of the grief, gives you the potential for your best life, the best energies that you could have ever imagined. And that's what you're heading towards. And so you need to just, right, take it slow, process. It takes time, and know that you're heading in the right direction, that you did make the right choice. However, it's like Alexa said, it's going to take time, and you do have to be easy on yourself, but there's a positive at the end, right? And that's what the universe is wanting you to know right now, is like it's like a confirmation of you're going in the right direction, you're doing the right thing. And there is a beautiful energy waiting for you at the end. So here's the Moonology card for you. A new start is coming. New moon. A new start is coming. I love that. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for getting your reading, Abby. So we've got Valerie next. The list is Valerie, Rebecca, Alexa, Chanel, Stacy, and Shannon. Okay, good, Abby. I'm glad. I don't see you in the chat, Rebecca, so I just sent you a message asking you if you figured it out. Okay. If not, just send me your question in the messenger, okay? And I'll go look for it there when it's your turn, which is after Valerie. All right. Progress chart for Valerie. (8:32 a.m. Fort Wayne. Okay, 9:11:58, 8:32 a.m. Fort Wayne, Indiana. All right, so we got your natal chart. And the second chart, let's pull up your progressed chart. Oh. Okay. Well, yeah, Alexa, you are on there. Valerie, Rebecca, Alexa, Chanel, Stacy, and Shannon. And then I'll look for Lisa in a second. Okay. I need to respond to... can you send me your question and info here, please? Just dealing with technical difficulties. Sorry, guys. Okay. Let's share your chart. Okay, here we go. All right, so first things first. Come on, come on, come on. All right. Ooh, I really need another monitor. So here we go. You were born with Sun in Virgo and Moon in Leo. And right now, the Sun has progressed to 19 degrees of Scorpio, and the Moon has progressed to 6 degrees of Sagittarius. So you just... Okay, so let's go back and look at when exactly you went through that new moon phase. Whoa, that was fast. Okay, so June 19th of 2019, you went through the new moon phase. So what that means is that, well, first of all, if your sun is in Scorpio and your moon right now is in Sagittarius, that means that like there's a deep desire to know the truth about things. There's a deep desire to explore the world to the fullest of life with your sun. And with the moon, there's a deep desire to explore. Now, this new moon that happened on June 9th, 2019 with your progressed sun and your progressed moon happened in your second house of values, of finances, of material possessions. So right now you have started a whole new 30-year cycle. You just recently started the cycle. And the moon, and it was a new moon in Scorpio. And so what that means, it's like there's a lot of, it's interesting because neither the sun nor the moon really like being in the energy of Scorpio, and so it could feel kind of funky, but it is a new beginning in learning to live life more to the fullest, because that's what Scorpio is. Like Scorpio dives deep into things and learns and connects with the depths of the underworld and the things that are hidden and the things that are occult. So this is a new cycle that is beginning for you in terms of what you value and your material possessions. And this is the new cycle that begins and will continue for another, 28 to 30 years. So, but right now, exactly, the moon has now moved out of Scorpio and into Sagittarius. It's right down here at the bottom. And that means that there's an exploration period, and the moon is going to, it's going to be in Sagittarius for pretty good while. It's going to be in Sagittarius until March 28th of 2022, and then it's going to move into Capricorn. So right now, between now and March of 2022, it's a really good time for you to use that energy to explore, to learn, to express yourself, to do things that inspire you, to expand your what you've learned. Sagittarius is all about like it's learning. The moon is going to move into from the second house into the third house of communication. So that's where you have to focus, your energy. And the communication of Sagittarius in a third house is very direct. So you might find yourself being very direct with the way you communicate with people in the next few years, couple years. You might find yourself needing independence, needing, freedom, needing the space to explore yourself. And because the third house rules, it's communication, but it's also siblings, and it's how you express yourself. It's also ruled by Mercury, so it has to do with technology and things like that. Those are the themes that are going to be the strongest. But you're going to need, more than anything else, a lot of freedom to do the things that you want to do. Now, the moon is going to conjunct your natal Saturn in June of 2021. So that's going to feel a little bit restricting, but your natal Saturn is actually in Sagittarius as well. So it'll be like a activation of taking your power back and using it to expand a little bit more. Saturn, restricts the moon's ability ability to really express itself and be free. So that's going to feel a little restricting, but having Saturn in Sagittarius is a different energy. Saturn in Sagittarius, it almost feels like it prefers to expand more than to create rules. But Saturn will restrict a little bit of that energy because the Saturn moon conjunction is going to be restricting. It always is. That's Saturn and the moon. The moon wants to feel and be free, and Saturn wants to restrict and control. So that's the energy that you're going to feel. And I think that is pretty much the most significant stuff. I think that the new cycle is a pretty big deal that you've just begun. So you're kind of in tune with it. If you're feeling, and that's what you've been doing, you're just intuitively going through the motions without realizing that that's what's going on energetically or astrologically. So thank you for that. So we've got, let's go check the PayPal real quick. Oh, I do see your name in there, Lisa, and it's right after. Yeah, it's in between Valerie and Rebecca. So perfect timing. It's your turn, Lisa. Then wow, I totally missed it, but thank you guys for letting me know. Yeah, so it's Valerie, Lisa, Rebecca, then Alexa, then Chanel, then Stacy, and then Shannon. That's what we got. So I think we might cut the list off there because otherwise we'll be here all night. So Rebecca, you'll be after Lisa. All right, tarot reading. Let's see. Yeah, you're welcome. I'd like to know what the tarot has for me tonight. I just had one of the cutest guys in high school 30 years ago ask me out. He's a Virgo sun and still so freaking cute. Our conversations are so good. I couldn't even say hi to him back in the day. Okay, so you want like a message of like what's going on there? Like a message for that situation? Well, let's do it then. So what does Lisa need to know right now regarding this situation with this Virgo? I like it when the cards fly out. Okie dokie. So the first thing I'm going to say, because the first card you got is the Six of Cups, and I love this as the first card that pops up. This is like a soulmate relationship connection. This is definitely someone you've known in a past life. And for whatever reason, you guys are reconnecting now, but you've had a past life or experiences with this person. And the Six of Cups is also about like childhood memories. So those things are coming up as well. The next card you get is the Page of Pentacles. I like the image of this person reaching up towards the pentacle or reaching up towards the Eye of Ra. That's like reaching out to receive more knowledge, reaching out to understand the universe, or the deepest depths of the universe, the mysteries of the universe. This is the card. This card can actually represent study, like going into some kind of class or learning. Like there's a reaching for knowledge. This is somebody that's seeking knowledge, and it's also a time for you to concentrate and focus and reflect on everything life. So this is a very powerful time for you to reconnect with someone, because I think you're energetically reaching for something more, and it's coming to you in this very beautiful sort of way through this interaction, through this connection with this person. The Three of Pentacles is the next card that you get, and so this is a joyful celebration time. This is like this card, what it's telling me is that you need to let yourself have fun with this. That you need to let yourself enjoy this, and honestly, like, not read too much into it. I don't think you have to read too much into it, because it's bringing joy. Like, it's something that you do need to see. Like, you're going to learn something really powerful from this. You're already reaching. And so the universe has brought to you this sort of situation, says, okay, here's the next sort of activation of your learning experience. And the Page of Wands is the next card that you get. And this is somebody who's loyal, who is a trustworthy friend. And this is also a card that brings in a message of growth, courage, or love. And so then you get the Queen of Wands. So it's like, let your passion be activated. Like, let that spark be activated for you. Like, follow that passion, because this is the universe, right? Giving you, like, you're reaching out. You're wanting to know something. You're wanting to understand something. And so somehow this is here because the universe wants you to celebrate. It wants you to enjoy your life, and it wants you to grow, and it wants you to, find the courage. But it's a good, positive energy. It came out of nowhere for me, not him. He's a Virgo. He's been thinking about it. Yeah, exactly. Yep, Virgos. Okay, so hopefully that gives you some insight. Thank you very much. So now we've got Rebecca, and we're going to do a natal chart reading for her. She's not in the chat, but she sent me her info through Facebook. So we are going to pull up your chart. Yeah, that card is really awesome. So we've got March 28th, 85, 11:41 p.m. San Diego. Okay, so now that we got your info, let us look at your chart. Alrighty. I'm gonna pull up 481. All right, here we go. Rebecca. So, let's see what we see. Let's see what we got. So this is just looking at your natal chart. So we're going to look at the energies and the things that are significant that stand out to me. So Sun in Aries, Moon in Cancer, Sagittarius rising, and Venus in Aries. Valerie, you know, I was actually thinking about someone in my life that was a Virgo. I mean, still is a Virgo, but you know what I mean? I was actually thinking about men. Virgo men. Okay, and that doesn't make it any better. I love Virgos, and I love Virgo men. I love how sensitive they are, and I love how like loving and just like that is such a beautiful energy for men. Okay, so Sun in Aries, that's a very fiery energy for the sun. Your soul wants to express itself very kind of loudly and expressive and like no boundaries. Your moon is in Cancer, however. So the moon kind of balances out that energy. It makes you sympathetic. It makes you empathic. It makes you connected to the moon very strongly. So like when the moon is either, you know, the cycles of the moon or the phases of the moon really affect you very strongly. People with moon in Cancer feel that very strong, you know, energy that connected to the moon, and so they'll go through these ups and downs, and they'll flow with the moon through the signs that the moon is going through, and through, you know, the houses that it's transiting in your chart, and it's a very beautiful energy. It makes you very clairsentient, which means you can feel what other people are feeling, and so this moon in Cancer wants to nurture, wants to love, especially in regards to your relationships, because it is in your 7th house. So it wants to nurture, it wants to love, it wants to be there for other people. That's the main stuff that I see with that. Now, when it comes to Venus, Venus in Aries, this is interesting because you also have Mercury in Aries, and they're in an exact conjunction, and so that's a lot of Aries energy in your 4th house of the home. A lot of your focus is at home for some reason. A lot of it's the way it's how you, what you communicate and how you love in relationships has to do with this like intense Aries energy, and it just sits there in your 4th house of the home. So a lot of that fiery energy happens at home. Now, the Sagittarius rising is really cool because that even adds more fire to the mix of your personality and who you are. This is the Sag rising right here. And you have Uranus conjunct the ascendant. So what that means is there's a unpredictability about you. People will not know what's coming next. You want freedom more than anything. You want to express your freedom, you want independence, you want to be free. All the things are very important to you in your life. And so when you don't have that freedom and that independence and the ability to express yourself freely, especially at home, then you will feel like you're being restricted. However, that moon in Cancer does give you that ability to be empathic, which is really important, especially when you have all that fire. Let's see what else I see in your chart that is significant. Your North Node is in Taurus in the 5th house. So you came into this life to learn about what it is to feel comfort, what it is to feel security, what it is to feel stability. And you will activate that energy through your creativity, which is the 5th house. So this is not your comfort zone though, because your comfort zone is actually your South Node in Scorpio, close to Saturn. So there are karmic lessons that you came into this lifetime that there are things that you're going to have to learn. Saturn rules karma. So this is a karmic, you came here to learn about your past self here in this lifetime, but your past lives as well. And all the drama with your mama I'm being sarcastic, but Scorpio is drama. So all the drama from early on in your life and from past lives, you've kind of brought that into this lifetime. But right now, it's time for you to let go of that and stop needing the drama in your life. Let go of the drama, because you're meant to live a more happy, secure life where you get to express your creativity and your sensuality at the same time. And Mars is right there too. So Mars is going to help you stabilize yourself and take action in a more grounded and centered kind of way, where you slow down a little bit and you think about what you're doing next, and you listen to that energy. Well, that's the other thing that I see in your chart. Let's see if there's anything else. Those are the things that pretty much stand out. You do have some, here we go. Jupiter. So you recently went through your Saturn return, like a few years ago. Actually, it was like quite a bit ago. 4 or 5 years ago. Maybe a little longer than that, but the next thing that you're going to experience next year, hello, good evening, is your Jupiter return, because you were born with Jupiter in Aquarius. So when Jupiter moves into Aquarius on December 21st of 2020, which is, we're going to talk about that in the webinar. If you guys, if you do one thing, do not miss this webinar that I'm doing next Thursday. Like, please sign up for it as soon as you can and be there. If you can't be there live, there'll be a replay that you'll be able to watch as many times as you want. But we're going to talk, there's a major transit that's happening December 21st that is on the winter solstice, which is Saturn-Pluto conjunct at 0 degrees of Aquarius. So when Jupiter moves into Aquarius, you are going to begin feeling the energies of your Jupiter return. When Jupiter reaches 10 degrees, that's going to be the exact return. What is a Jupiter return? Well, Jupiter brings in abundance. It brings good luck. It brings exciting new things. It's the new adventures. It's expansion in your life, and it usually brings in really good feeling stuff. It's like a good feeling energy and a good feeling year for you. The whole transit of Jupiter in Aquarius is going to feel really good, because the energies are shifting very strongly. So that's really powerful. Plus, when you do go through your Jupiter return, that Jupiter is going to trine Chiron, trine Juno and your ascendant, your midheaven. And then also, this midheaven trines your natal Chiron. So this grand trine in air activates the mind. So new ideas and new things that you're going to create and be innovative about, because that's Aquarius, we're going beyond a natal chart reading here, but that's because it's important what I see. In your natal chart, this is another thing I'm going to talk about. This is the last one. You have this yod right here. So this is how to resolve the energy. The yod is the finger of God, and it points directly to Chiron, your healing path. You're healing yourself. Chiron and I have Chiron and Gemini. Like I would definitely look into studying things like astrology. Like if you haven't dove into that, I think you might really enjoy it. Because this is the healing of the mind. This is Chiron is asking you like heal on a mind level, ideas and things like that. That's the healing path for you, and learning how to be really here in the present moment, like what's in front of you. You know, what are you surrounded with, the people that you're surrounding yourself with, all that stuff, and it points directly to that in the 6th house of work, but also being in the present moment, your health, your body, your schedule, your daily life. That's where you're healing. Who are the players? Neptune and Pluto, outer planets, which means this is strong energies that are sextiling, so it's a good thing. Pluto is in Scorpio in your chart, so there's a very powerful dynamic energy happening here. You have a lot of power. You hold a lot of power in your life. Interestingly enough, people that have Pluto in the 10th house, like you have the potential to be a really powerful being in the realm of career. You have the potential to be someone that has a lot of power, which means naturally, like that would be somebody who can become famous in some kind of way, but famous because of the power that like they exude. So, but you have to cultivate. You have to cultivate that power. But Pluto sextiles Neptune, and then they both point towards Chiron. So this is like a dynamic between the energies of Neptune, which is the dream world. It's also the fogginess. It's like dreams, but it's also like the lack of clarity. But it's pointing towards Chiron. So there's a very powerful activation of your Chiron in your chart because of that yod. Okay. Well, that was a lot. So there we go. Thank you, Rebecca. So we got Alexa. Here's the rest of the list. Alexa, Chanel, Stacy, and Shannon. So Alexa, feel free to put up your question. And thank you guys so much for your patience. I know I'm spending a little more time tonight on everybody. It's kind of cool. I'm enjoying it. I hope you guys are too. Yeah, I'm going through my Jupiter return this year. And it's kind of gnarly because it's in Capricorn, but I'm still enjoying it. Okay, let's check it out. Canberra, Australia. Okay, I'm going to go with that. Moved 3 times in 3 months. Holy moly. Well, we'll see what your progress chart says about what cycle you're at. Okay. So here's your chart and your secondary progressions for today. So you were born with Sun in Taurus, Moon in Leo. Your sun right now is at 22 degrees of Cancer. And your moon, okay, here we go, is at 15 degrees of Scorpio. That's 2 water signs. So you were born with earth and fire, and now the energies are water and water. So it's like a very deep, emotional, healing, intense space. I also found out that between 15 degrees, this is in the star chart, 15 degrees of Libra and 15 degrees of Scorpio, when the moon travels through those, through that 30-degree sort of span, it's energetically opposing the sun in Aries, when the sun is in Aries, and when the sun is in Taurus, I believe. Taurus. Anyways, I think it's these 2 signs. So the point I'm trying to make is I'm trying to remember what's Taurus. Sun in Taurus, 15 degrees. Yeah, 15 to 15. So basically, when the sun is in Aries, at least I can't remember if the sun is in. Is it in detriment or fall? Anyways, so the sun doesn't like to be, or it's actually exalted. Okay, so it's exalted. Yeah, it's exalted in Aries, and then in Taurus. I can't remember if in Taurus it's not exalted. It's okay. We're just gonna move on. I'm like, I don't have my little sheet that has all the dignities. But basically, the sun feels good, right? On the opposite side of that. So when the moon transitions through those degrees, it doesn't feel good because it's opposing that energy. Sun is happy, moon is not. So you're going through that kind of cycle right now. And it's not just that. That's the whole point I was saying that. It's not just that. If your progressed sun is in Cancer, and then you go through Leo, Virgo, and Libra, basically when it was right about here, that means that the moon, you recently went through the phase of the moon squaring the sun. And it's actually squaring the sun right now. So it started in January. Started in January. And it's going to continue until December. So basically, for the entire year, your progressed moon has been squaring your progressed sun. And that's a difficult time in your life. It lasts for a whole year. So what happens during that time is a challenge comes up that needs to be resolved, that needs to be dealt with. And if we let's look at the houses, right? This is first house. Well, let me go back to the one I can write on. Let's erase all that. So progressed sun is transiting, aspecting, this is, yeah, right? So that at least that explains it, right? Like clarity is good. That explains it. Sun in your first house. Moon is right now in your, trying to read this chart without house numbers on it this is quite testing me as an astrologer. Okay, so it was transiting your third and now it's transiting your fourth. So dude, Like it started in the third house. So the square started in the third house of communication. And then it moved into the fourth house. Wait, 1, 2, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, anyway, hang on. No, that's wrong. See, this is why I probably should switch back to the other one. So this is the rising right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so it started in the fourth, and now it's moved into the fifth. So fourth is home, fifth is creativity, passion, romance, like activating yourself, like having fun. It's like the fun part of life. So that's it. That's it right there. Yeah, exactly. Moving to peaceful times after the chaos. Yeah, I know. No, it's all good. I just like this is interesting to me because I'm doing these readings without actually having the house numbers, so I have to like visually look at them. So that's what's up. Like that's what's been going on. So it's true. Like in December, it's gonna be over, and you're gonna start to move towards the next phase, which is waxing moon, and then into gibbous, and then into full moon. But that's going to be a minute till you get to that full moon phase, and then that'll be the culmination of this cycle that started like 7 years ago. 7 years ago it began. Something significant began. I'm curious. Let's go forward in time. 23, 2024. Cancer, let's see. 26. 2025 is where the cycle will culminate, and you'll have that full moon phase, and this will all everything you'll learn the biggest, like the lesson that it was for the last 14 years from 2025, and you will understand why everything happened, like here, in the center place while it was squaring. It's not 7 years of crap. Well, no, because it's like you go through it's not exactly like that. You go through, right? Your full moon phase was, around here, right? New moon. And then the moon's waxing crescent. So it's exciting. It's exciting stuff. Like you're building. But then when the square happens, well, something happens that needs to be resolved. And then you move away from that energy, and then it becomes a positive energy again, because you're building, you're growing, and you get to the point where like, okay, the opposition, I finally get it. Like now I get it, why that all happened, and that will be in what did we say, 2025. So these cycles last a long time. That's the thing about progressions, is they do take time. Where's Jupiter? Well, I'm not looking at the transits, but Jupiter right now is in Capricorn, and it's going to move into Aquarius. So right now, Jupiter doesn't move very much in progress charts. So we don't really focus on Jupiter. But he's in your 7th house right now. And so this has a lot to do, he's transiting your 7th house, so it has a lot to do with relationships. The death of relationships, the death of old relationships, and the activation of new ones. You also have just recently gone through your 2nd Saturn return, which is another maturing phase. And then when it moves into Aquarius, so in December, it's going to finish its transit through the 7th and move into the 8th. And that's going to be a whole nother ball of wax. Okay, so there we go. There's just a lot going on in your chart. It's kind of a lot. A little overwhelming, for sure. But that's what's happening. I think we're all generally going to feel better when Saturn and Jupiter move into Aquarius together. We're going to feel like refreshed, but we still have to go through the endings of those things that began. Awesome. All right, Chanel is next, then Stacy, and then Shannon. Thank you guys for your patience, for being here and waiting and hanging out. I'm really excited about the webinar, you guys. Okay, another progressed chart. I can tell I'm going to fall in love with the progressed charts. And that's just talking about the sun and the moon, you guys. We're just that's not even as deep as you could go with it. But you do focus on the sun and the moon, so we're getting the gist of it. Lansing. Okay, let me make sure I get it right. Okay. So let's check it out. You were born with Sun in Cancer, Moon in Aquarius. We're having fun in here, Wendy. And right now the sun is progressed to 26 degrees. Oh, snap. 26 degrees. Why is that significant? For some reason, that number's jumping out at me. I wonder if there's a star aligned with that degree. If there is, that's a big deal. But I don't know yet, so we can't talk about it. But that is close to the last degrees of Leo. That means that okay, I'm thinking of the new moon that we just had, which was at 26 degrees of Leo. That moon, exactly aspected your progressed sun. That's legit. That's epic. And he's in your 4th house of the home. So new beginnings at home. Progressed moon is in Taurus, in your 1st house, aspecting your 1st house in your natal chart. And let's see what's happening there. So in the recent kind of, future, I guess not that recent, but so the beginning of this new year, for you, of course, is it for you, Wendy? If it's for you, yes, it's open. So at the beginning of 2021, the moon is going to be trining your your progressed moon is going to be trining your progressed sun, which is a positive time. You're getting close. It's moving, the moon's going to be, oh wait, can't write on there. The moon is going to be, it's moving this way towards your sun. When it reaches your sun, you're going to start a whole new cycle in your life. Oh, okay. So otherwise the list is closed. So you're going to start a whole new cycle. But first it's going to trine the sun, and it's going to feel good, and it's going to feel like this beautiful energy. And that's going to happen for the next, from the beginning of the year until April of 2022. So basically, just like all of next year, the progressed moon's going to be trining your progressed sun. So when is it going to start to get kind of gnarly is when it starts to square the sun, which is going to happen. Wait, hold on a second. Hold on. I take all of that back. I was looking at the wrong thing. Hang on. That was the moon. The moon's going to be trining your natal moon. So that was the trine to your natal moon. So that would be in where the Aquarius is. So hang on a second, because I'm trying to figure out when is the square, and it looks like it's getting close, but the square is going to be, maybe it just happened. Come on, Zog. Yeah, that's not. Oh, okay, that's what's happening. So what I actually think, let me look at something real quick. Let's just look at your progress chart by itself for a second, because I really want to figure this out. It kind of looks like moon squaring. Yeah, that's what I thought. That's what it looked like visually, but I wanted to double check. Okay, so I'll take that back, because the moon has been trining and will trine for all of next year, your natal moon, and that is going to feel good. But then this is the other transit that I could visually see, but I couldn't quite verify because the chart didn't let me. But now when I'm just looking at your progress chart by itself, I can see clearly. I can see clearly now the rain is gone. But the moon is squaring the sun. So let me reset this. August 1st, 2020. So it's been squaring the sun since July of 2020. So you just started the phase of the square that we were just talking about with Alexa. So that means that there's something challenging that is coming up right now for you, that is needing to be resolved. And so that's going to happen until basically for a whole year, July of 2021. So that's what's happening for a whole year. So now if we go back and put your natal chart here and your progress chart there again, and we go back to July of 2020. Let's reset it. July, August. So it just started. The moon is traveling through your first house. So that's what I wanted to see, like which houses are being affected. So this is happening, 1, 2, 3, 4 in your fifth house of creativity and your first house of your identity. So that is what's being affected right now. That is the theme. It's your identity, your self-esteem, who you think you are, and then for a whole year, that's the theme. That's what you're going through. So that's what I see, and basically, it's gonna bring stuff up for you in regards to these sort of themes in your life, and it's gonna cause you to have to solve it, figure it out. And I think that's really what I want to kind of focus on for your reading. Does that give you some insight? Probably does. And then when you finally get to, it's going to be a while, but about, 7 years or so, the moon's going to be moving through and it's going to get to Virgo and it's going to meet the sun, and that's going to be your new moon phase. So 2028 will be the new cycle that begins. Whole new 30-year cycle. And it'll feel good because you'll have officially finished what you started 30 years before 2028, and then 7 years before that square that happened, and then you'll get to go at it again, and it'll be a new beginning in terms of creativity for you, and like organizing your life, like putting things kind of back together. Okay. Whoa. Hey, that's kind of a cool view. So next is Stacy. Woo! I think it's time to put the hair up. Stacy and then Shannon. She never showed up, what could have been? Okay, let's pull it up. $1978. Oh. At 10:10 a.m. or a.m. Okay. So here is your natal. So natal, you have sun in Virgo, moon in Leo. You were born kind of near the new moon. Right now your sun has progressed to 19 degrees of Libra. And your moon is at 14 degrees. Your progressed moon is at 14 degrees of Pisces. Sun is in the first house and moon is in the fifth. So you pretty much I think you just went through the square. I think you might have just finished the square. So let's go over here. I had a marvelous time. So it looks like you just begun the square phase. You just began that phase, the square. And the moon is waning. So you're closing off. It's actually the last thing that needs to be figured out before the official closing of the 30-year cycle. This is changing. So how long is this going to be going on for? It's going to be going on until July 21st of 2021. So it's kind of, oh wait, hang on. Sorry. I'm looking at, let's reset that. I was looking at Chanel's chart. Jeez. So that's what I was seeing, that you just might have finished it. Sorry, guys. Okay. So December of 2015, there was the square that started. This might sound more more to what you've been experiencing. So December 21st of 2015 is when the square started. That phase where, something needing to be resolved. November 21st of 2016 is when that cycle ended. And you started to move closer to the trine. And the trine is a good thing. So the trine started in February of 2018. So that was like a time that felt good in your life. Positive energies. And then until March 21st of 2019. So what's happening now is that the moon is continuing to wax into getting into the gibbous phase, and it's going to reach the full moon phase. Let's find out. So you're going to feel the energies building. Then the moon moves into, because right now the moon is in Pisces for you, I believe. Yeah, it's in Pisces. So that's a very powerful sign for the moon. It loves to be in that sign. It's a very intuitive. It's very awakened. It's very connected. And then when it moves into Aries, that's when you're going to start to feel the energy of the opposition, or the culmination of the cycle that started 30 years earlier. So 2023. So right now what you're experiencing is you're building up to that culmination. You're building up to the ending of that cycle. So now if we add your charts together, we can see that when the moon moves into that opposition, 20 something degrees of Aries. If we erase all this, so the sun is here, still going to be in Libra, moon's going to be over here in Aries. It's going to be in your 7th house of relationships. So that's the culminating cycle will have to do with a relationship of yours, a intimate, close relationship, or a business relationship. And I mean, the culmination of it is it began with the Libra energy, if I'm correct. The new moon should have been in Libra. And it finishes in Aries. So this was the Libra, and it's interesting because that's opposite, right? It's the duality where Libra wants to focus on people, but then Aries wants to focus on himself or herself. So what you're experiencing is the culmination of the cycle, where now when you get to that cycle in, what did we say it was? Okay, 2023. When you get to that moment, April 21st of 2023, or around that year, 2023 is going to be the year where you feel the strongest energies of that. And as the moon moves into your 7th house, it's there's the expression of your emotions is going to be like very clear. People are going to be very clear about how you feel because you're not going to hide anything, and you're going to be very direct about it. But it's going to be a focus on you in the realm of relationships. Does that give you insight? Does that kind of help you out? So you've gone through the square phase, you've gone through the trine phase, and now you've moved beyond that. So the moon is getting pretty close to the culmination cycle. So the next few years are like you're figuring things out, and you're getting ready to change. Maybe you're going to meet new people. Maybe you're going to let go of other, relationships that are not working. The moon is going to be traveling through the 5th house and then the 6th house. And so this is like creativity. Right now it's in Pisces. So it's like there's a lot of creative energy. And then when it moves into Aries and in your 6th house, you're going to really focus on maybe like working out, taking care of your body, exercising, taking action, the things that are important to you, like in your daily schedule. That's like the next couple of years. And then it's going to be like, okay, now the focus is relationships, and we're finishing something. So, okay. That's that. Thank you. Thank you so much. So next we've got Shannon. Okay, so let's pull. Chart for Shannon. And this is our last one for the night. Thank you guys so much. 8-7. All right. So, here we go. All right. Of course, you have Sun and Leo in your natal. Wait, I think I did this wrong. Hang on. I entered the information wrong. Okay. So let me just double check. 8/7/1975, 10:55 a.m. Yeah, you're welcome. And then we add the progress chart. Okay. And that is, oh my. Okay. Let's try this again. Don't try, kids, don't try this at home. Just kidding. There's a lot involved in these freaking things. Okay, here we go. Sun in Leo and Moon in Leo. So see, this is cool. That's why the other day I was like, we got to look at your progress chart. So, okay, let's move this so it stops flickering. Okay, progressed Sun is at 27 degrees of Virgo. Progressed Moon is at 4 degrees of Aries. So you have progressed Sun in Virgo, progressed Moon in Aries. Those are two very different energies. Like Sun in Virgo is like very analytical and like, focuses on the details, can be critical of himself and others, but is also very loving and wants to help and wants to be of service. And Moon in Aries is like, okay, I'm just like no boundaries. Like, let's go now, do it now. Here's the crazy thing that's happening is, do you see that these two are almost opposed? So that's amazing. So I'm just going to now pull up just the progressed chart, because you are okay. So at the beginning of this year, whoa, this is really cool. At the beginning of this year, you started going through the full moon completion. So you were finishing the last 30-year cycle. Like, it's been ending this whole year, basically. The energy, you started to feel the energy in March of 2019, and you've been feeling it until basically today. What in the world? Yeah, so dude. So basically until today, you've been feeling that like completion cycle, and so now it's gonna start waning. So moving away from the intensity, and it's gonna start like relaxing a little bit and maybe give you a little bit of a break. But know that you've just gone through a very intense culmination cycle, and it's slowing down. It's starting to slow down. That's what's been happening for you. Wow, that's like pretty significant. You just went through the full moon phase. And the full moon phase was Virgo, and the full moon was Pisces. And that's significant too. So it was like, what did it say? "26 degrees, the last degrees of Pisces." So it's like a major. That's when the Uranus. So you were going through. Wow, you're going through like the end. So the end of the cycle, and Uranus opposition at the same time. Dude. So 26 degrees of Pisces, and when we go back to here, that's in your 5th house of creativity. So the Pisces full moon, when it's a Pisces full moon, it's actually connected to like a spiritual cycle. It's like you have literally gone through the whole zodiac and are now at that Pisces energy. And that, well, you are there, but it has changed into Aries. So when it moved into, actually, if I can look at this, refresh it, but when did it exactly move into Aries? So in April, your progressed moon moved from Pisces into Aries. And so you felt like a big energy shift. You felt a big energy shift in April. Where like it was like there was a new beginning energy there too. So you got to think about what was going on in April that made you feel like, okay, let's change things up, let's start something new, even though it was like, because it was the end of that full moon cycle and the beginning of a whole new year of your progressed moon being in the sign of Aries, where you're like way more wild, like way more wild. That's freaking crazy. So that kind of should explain a little bit more about what's been happening. Yeah, totally. So there you have it. Sorry, I was like trying to make sure Guy wasn't drinking from the toilet. I thought she might have been. She wasn't. She was being a good girl. Okay, so thank you guys so much for getting a reading tonight. Thank you to those of you that hung out and watched. So I'll be offering these progress readings for the mini readings on Friday night. So if you weren't able to get a reading tonight, definitely sign up for next week. You can just sign up at any time. Just let me know. If you sign up like while we're not live, just put a little message in the payment that says this is for mini readings for next week or something like that. So then I can add your name to the list before we actually get to that point. And remember, please sign up for the 2020 special webinar for Thursday. It's going to be happening on Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern, and we're going to cover the rest of 2020, and this is going to be the most important webinar from me that you watch for the whole year. It's going to be you want to know this information. So, all right, you guys, I will let you go. I hope you guys have an amazing weekend, a good rest of your day. I will be back. Let's see when I'll be back. I'll be back Monday with the weekly video. And then after that, I will be seeing you guys at the webinar. So make sure you set that reminder for yourself so you don't forget about it. Because I won't be going live again. I'll just be uploading a video on Monday. And I'll announce it there and I'll remind you guys. I'm also going to be uploading soon the September Pick a Card. So that's going to be pretty fun. Thank you guys. Awesome, Stephanie. Awesome, Lisa. Yeah, totally. All right. So have a good night, good weekend. I'll see you guys on Monday in that video. And then I'll see you at the webinar. Sat Nam.